You're not just throwing out money. That's what a lot of insurance companies do. Ours is an actual relationship with the client.
You know, one of the things that we've really prided ourselves over the years is we've been the innovators in this space.
Those kind of things that just amaze us when we see the crisis, the issues, the life that's in the world today, and how we can extend hope, grace, love, and freedom.
Welcome back to the NEI Pioneer Podcast. This podcast showcases the stories and the people in the region of Northeast Indiana. Today, we step into the world of insurance with Mark Robison, President of Brotherhood Mutual, and Senior Vice President Scott Figgins. If you didn't know, our host, Jonathan Sackett, has actually spent many years of his career working with big-name insurance companies, working on their marketing. You've likely seen his marketing work on many famous Geico commercials throughout the years. So in this episode, Jonathan seeks to understand the mission behind Brotherhood Mutual and why it makes them uniquely successful in this industry. Take it away, Jonathan.
Welcome, Brotherhood Mutual.
Glad to be here.
And such success. And we're talking insurance advertising, which is a great place to start anyway, because I'm an advertising snob. There, how's that? But usually I'm looking for faults with advertising. And when I saw your guys' stuff, I thought it was hilarious. Do you guys have a philosophy at all about advertising? You guys are probably too far removed from it.
Yeah, for us, honestly, we believe word of mouth more than anything because we're a very tight market because we only insure Christian ministries, so churches and related ministries. So we're not looking to find anybody and everybody across the globe to buy insurance. It just doesn't work for us. So we're very focused. So ours has to be somehow tied to the scriptures, somehow tied to church life, and that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, one of the things we did a number of years ago is we actually created a comic book called Charlie Valor, and it was provided free to ministries for use with. And so it took.
Was it actually printed?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a print comic book but it talked about things like that was when sexting was first coming out, and it was trying to
Bullying.
take bullying in school, those
Okay.
kinds of things. So it was geared for youth pastors. We created some content to go around it where they could do ministry with it, but we gave them out by the thousands.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of low tech, high touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought you guys did an excellent job on that.
Yeah. And for us, a lot of it is messaging because, we deal with a very educated clientele, but they're educated a lot in theology and not necessarily in business. So we have to come alongside them a lot of times and help them, kind of find their way in the business world on how to attract people, how to build their ministries, that kind of thing.
Let me ask this. What did you guys want to be when you grew up?
Well, I wanted to be a CFO, so I'm a CPA. So I wanted to be an
Okay, so you
accountant,
did it the
even
whole
from
way?
little. I did, yeah.
Wow.
So I came in through the criminal justice route. I graduated in the 80s, and my dad, like I mentioned earlier, worked for ITT, and so I wanted to get in the Defense Investigative Service, but at the time it was the government was pretty much not hiring. It was during the Reagan administration. And so
boy.
I got into claims adjusting, and that's how I got into insurance.
Get
And
out of here.
Yeah.
Hey, would you mind? We were talking about this before the show. Your dad.
Yeah.
What did he develop?
He invented the camera that went up in one of the early satellites that was launched that took the first color pictures of the Earth from space.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You don't have any components of that camera now?
I
do you?
actually have a model of it on my desk at work. So.
No way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Brotherhood Mutual.
Yeah.
So let me see here. According to our notes, how long have you guys been there? 30-some years.
Yeah, I started in 94, and you were
89,
couple
36
years before.
years.
Wow. And did you guys know each other before that?
No.
Okay. And you still get along?
Yeah. We have to.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. Well, after this, you might not. I'm going to see if I can plant some seeds.
Yeah.
So that's so rare nowadays for people to stay at a gig that long. What do you guys attest that to?
Well, I think it's mission as much as anything. When I came on board and took over as president in 2008, we went off site and sat around the table and asked. I just made everybody write it out because I didn't want anybody to say, "Well, that's what they." That too.
That's
so I made
what I
them
would
write
say.
it out and say, what do you want your dad to say when you retire? Because thinking that was the impetus of what we want to make sure we fulfill for our careers. And as we went around the table, it really was very, very similar for everybody. And that was, we wanted to leave the kingdom, the Christian kingdom, better off than when we started.
Oh, beautiful.
And so, and that's the thing that sort of keeps all of us there, is that we're fully engaged in mission work. We're fully engaged in whether it's international mission, domestic mission, K through 12 schools, college and universities, the actual local church body. We get to be a part of all of that. And as we get to know each of those industries and those parts of services that they do, there's more that has to be developed for them to do their work safely and wisely, whether it's additional insurance coverage or risk management material. So I think that's the thing that, I know that's what keeps me, but I think that's what keeps most of us there, is we come in every day with an opportunity to help people reach Christ faster and easier. And so it's just such a drawing for who we are and what we do.
It seems like it should be a natural fit, but probably isn't, to find those people, right? Do you guys
I think most people don't believe it's true that you can come to Brotherhood and work and actually give yourself into the mission work of the kingdom. And I think that's what throws people off, is like, yeah, you say that, but I don't know if it's really true. But that's the way people are.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that you say that. We call it the willing suspension of disbelief.
There you go. Yeah.
So, how do you overcome that disbelief or that suspension of it?
Well, I think a lot of it is getting people engaged in what we do. So, once they visit the building, once they get a chance to see some of the things that we do, some of the things we provide for employees, I don't know how many times it's been where people have come up to me after the fact and said, even through the interview process, I kept asking myself, is this really real? And then within, a few weeks, it's like, it's real. This is community. This is family.
It's beautiful. It's a sad commentary on the rest of us, but I think it's obviously working, because you guys are incredibly successful. Can you talk about some of the things that you guys provide with Brotherhood?
One of the things that we've really prided ourselves over the years is we've been the innovators in this space. So, because again, we all are in the church and come out of the church to serve the church. And so we see the things that they do on a regular basis, and then we can say, you know what, I'm not sure that that's covered under a typical policy. So I'll geek out on a little insurance here. But one of the things that we, initiated a number of years ago is, a lot of churches were starting to do like what we called at the time car care ministries. So maybe a single mom in the church or somebody who's low income, they need their oil changed, or they need their brakes replaced, or they need, something done with their vehicle, and they can't really afford to do it. So, in a church, you have people with all kinds of skill sets. So mechanics would come forward and say, hey, on Saturday, let's just have people bring their car in and we'll change oil, we'll do, routine maintenance and those kinds of things. Well, that's really not covered. I mean, under a general liability, it excludes anything that's related to an auto.
Yeah.
And under a commercial auto policy, it only covers vehicles you own or have some relationship to. So there was this gap in coverage. So we created what we called car care ministry. So it provided coverage for, liability and property damage that might arise out of, doing that kind of ministry.
Wow.
So we've just done that time after time over the years, is look for those gaps where churches are doing good ministry but may not be covered under traditional insurance.
See, I would think that would be a potential weight on your head, not an opportunity, because it seems like there would be additional constraints to what you could. Forget the legalities of insurance alone. Just forget that. I mean, that's a tangled web by itself. But yet to incorporate faith into it seems like another obstacle.
So that's actually, I think, the reason that we thrive at Brotherhood Mutual is because we're looking for those innovative ways that we can help people be reached for the gospel. So we're encouraging churches, think outside the box.
Yeah.
What else could you do? And we'll stand right here with you and help craft risk management so you do it safely, and well as insurance coverage if it makes sense. So we have a Kingdom Advancing grant program that we put up $150,000 a year, and we allow local churches across the country to apply for that grant as long as they're doing something innovative in sharing the gospel and it's replicable. We want to look and see if we can invest in it.
So it's almost like open source, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different because we can't give money to our customers.
Right.
So we can't even invest in them. But if we set it up through our foundation and then we pick our top 10 or 15 customers and prospects as well, and we bring them. They're the granting committee, and we bring them together, and they read 400 and some applications and narrow it down, and then they give away the 150,000. But they also stay on for a year, and they mentor that grantee for 12 months. Because if in business, if you get mentored, you're more likely to succeed.
You're right. Teach a man to fish.
Exactly. So they're standing there for 12 months, going along with them on this idea financially, and then with all of their resources and skill sets and leadership, and helping them get across the finish line.
Wow.
So that's the stuff that's why we keep going where we are and what keeps us going. But it also is why we're always looking for the next thing, is what is working on this.
Yeah.
So we've got a ministry today that they take paraplegics, and they have created a wheelchair that sits on a harness that sits on two people, one in the front and one in the back, and they carry these individuals through the Grand Canyon.
What?
So they can see God's creation. Now, you think about it, not only is it beautiful and incredible, but they also have a hike that's 5 to 6 hours down and 5 to 6 hours back, because they don't usually go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
But that's anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. They're with this individual who's sitting in between them, and they're talking about life with them for that entire period of time, and what's going on, and how did this happen, and what can we do for you, and who's in your life, and getting to know this individual. And then when they're done, this individual flies home or wherever they're from, but they continue on an online messaging process to continue to disciple the individual.
Wow. That's
Now, why would you not want to be a part of that ministry,
of course.
right?
But see, and again, I'm certainly not taking anything away from any insurance companies I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
There, before I get sued. But I think that
We can cover you for that.
Other than Doug and the
now
leader,
that
right?
we're all together.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think, are there any other stories that you guys have that really took you by surprise, or?
Yeah, again, coming out of the Kingdom Advancing Grant, this last year was one that really, really touched me. It was a ministry. They're located in kind of in L.A. area where 3 gangs kind of meet. It's kind of the epicenter of 3 different gangs. And so church planted right in that corner right there. And one of the things that they did is the guy that kind of started the church, he came out of that lifestyle. And one of the things that is a detriment to being able to get out is the fact that they're often very tatted, with tattoos all over their face, especially if they're coming out of prison. Yeah, the teardrops. And so they do tattoo removal. So they'll have service, and then they bring out a machine, and they will remove tattoos from individuals that have these kind of symbols on them, but
because they can't get jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
when your face is tacked and it says F the police.
Yeah.
Who's there's only so many people that hire you. So it is for restoration of employment and other issues as well.
But the story was this one girl came in and kind of asked what they were doing, and they said, well, we're removing tattoos. And she said, could I have it done? I don't know how much. Because we do it for free. And so she had a name on her neck, and so he started to remove it, and she just starts bawling. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, am I hurting you? She said, no, I've been trafficked since I was 12, and that's the guy who owns me. And so if I ever tried to get away, everybody would know that's who I belong to. And
And every morning she has to look in the mirror and see that she's owned.
Yeah.
And so this is setting her free.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
so it's those kind of things that just amaze us when we see the crisis, the issues, the life that's in the world today, and how we can extend hope, grace, love, and freedom.
Well, okay. So along with that, then we're going off scripture, and I love this. By the way, this is where I live.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Okay, a lot of these insurance entities get dinged because, not you guys, of course, but I'm sure everybody's got their problems. But one of the things that they get dinged for is they're trained to say no, and they're trained in ways to find a no in coverage, right?
Yep.
Because you file a claim, no, there's one little thing off here. Obviously, profitability needs to be there, or you can't have a business. I get it.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on that? That these companies, that they actually, I mean, you guys have seen the case studies probably more than I have. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say one of the things that we've really been good at is being able to say yes, but yes within limits. So part of the problem is a lot of times when an insurance company looks at something, it's what's the runaway nature of this? And so we may do something like car care ministry, but we're not going to provide 10 million of coverage for something like that, but we'll provide 300,000. So something that that we can operate and we can retain that and have, losses that, but also it provides them a level of protection, but it kind of caps our exposure. So anything that's kind of out there, on those kinds of things, we look at ways that we can say yes, but say yes in a responsible way.
And I mean, I would assume that sometimes saying yes means a ding to the bottom line.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I think the other side of that is you're not just throwing out money. That's what a lot of insurance companies do. Is that you have a policy and you file a claim, we either pay it, we don't, and that's the relationship.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not what ours is. Ours is an actual relationship with the client. So a church in Fort Wayne here, we're going to get to know that pastor. We're going to get to know the ministry they're doing. We're coming alongside them. We're bringing risk management resources to the table to help them along that process. But then that's the other side of Brotherhood Mutual. So we also have Brotherhood Works, which is a whole nother division.
That was my next question.
Yeah, and that's where we've gone into administratively and said, okay, Pastor, you've been called to preach the gospel. So what are you doing today that's keeping you from doing that? So, processing payroll is one of those. And so we stepped in and said, well, let us be the payroll service bureau. So we do thousands and thousands of church payroll today. So one of the largest in the entire country. And it's all because we go to our customers, but they don't have to be a customer of ours to get that. And then we realize pastors don't have health insurance very often. So let's go out and use our leverage of $1 billion of property casualty and go find carriers that'll do this and bring that down to them. So we're doing that with group health. We do the same thing with life and disability. We do background screening programs so that they can get that for a cheaper value. So they're screening their volunteers, screening their staff. Before someone's involved in the nursery or the youth ministry, you've got a background check on them. Yeah. So you're doing these things. So with mission travel, so they can do foreign travel overseas, we can provide that. We're looking at it and saying, what's keeping the staff of that church from doing what they want to do, either from fear. So one of those is setting up global missions work. Well, when you leave the United States, your policy doesn't go with you. And so you have to figure out how to get that overseas. So we thought, well, wait a minute, what if we actually extend our policy so it goes with them when they go out of the country? So we changed that so that they could send missionaries across the globe. We believe in that. They believe in that. Let's not let them be afraid of it. Let's elevate it. Again, we don't have to give them $50 million of coverage to do it. That's not what they're looking for.
Right.
So let's be working with them one-on-one and realize, what is it you really want? And let's build that.
Yeah.
And not worry about trying to get attorneys in there that want to sue this or sue that and get that. No, we're trying to do a relationship with you. So what do you want? So bringing that relationship down to the local level and finding out what actually is needed, building it from there, like a car care ministry for one church, knowing that other churches were doing it so that we could take it. That's the difference of where we are and what we do.
Part of that process too is our agent. So we're very selective on the agents that represent us. In fact, as Mark mentioned, we'll do about $1 billion of coverage, but we only have 72 agencies that represent us across the United States. So they have large territories, and the purpose of that is we want them to only write churches. So that's really all they do is
Christian ministry.
Everybody gets their own vertical.
Yeah,
per se.
yeah. Like in the state of California, we have one agency that represents us. So they can have a great runway and a great living just selling churches and ministries. So they're not selling a grocery store today and a church tomorrow and something else the next day. And so they really become the risk manager, the pastor of risk management for the churches that they're at, because they can invest their time and resource and talent in helping that ministry, one, do things safely, but two, changing things that make them more insurable, that help them operate safely. And
you guys are like the anti-insurance agency. Well, and the reason, and just so you guys don't think I'm totally...
But we believe in them deeply.
Yeah. Well,
we use independence.
This is just really surprising to me because I didn't know that you guys got that deep. And is that, do you guys actually have a division or a department that actually looks into solving those needs?
We do.
Yeah.
Wow.
We do, yeah.
What's that department called?
So Brotherhood Works is looking at it from the non-P&C side, and then we have our underwriting committee that they're looking at it from the P&C side, and then we have the Kingdom Advancing Grant Program, which is our innovation grant. So we're stepping back and looking at it from that side too. So we're looking at things from multiple places so that we can grab those ideas, see where it's going, what is the church thinking, where's the Lord leading them, so that we can be right alongside them to carry that day.
Very impressive.
I had to interrupt the podcast to share the exciting news. We officially have our 2026 Pioneer nominees. Now, we will be announcing these soon, but in the meantime, my team and I are working behind the scenes to film and tell their pioneering stories. You might be wondering where you come in, and I'm glad that you want to know. We will be releasing the video series telling each pioneer story in the spring, along with opening up community voting to vote on each category winner. So we encourage everyone to first of all subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where we're going to be posting the video series. After you've watched the series, be sure to go to pioneerstartshere.com to vote on the category winners. The category winners, as well as the 2026 Pioneer of the Year, will all be announced at our May Pioneer Awards event. So those are the 3 things for you to do. First of all, subscribe to our channel, watch the video series, and vote on your 2026 Pioneers. Now let's jump back into this podcast.
So how does insurance tie in your mission to advancing the kingdom by serving the church?
Yeah, again, it's all about making sure the church is capable and available to do whatever they're called to do. So again, standing right behind them, right beside them, in front of them at times, opening those doors, walking through those doors with them, whatever it may be, trying to be in that place so that they don't feel hindered. I'll give you an example. We were at one of the top 100 churches in America, not insured by us, which is a real mistake on their part. But that's why I was there.
Where are they located, and what's the address?
Yeah. But I'm sitting with them, and it was a really interesting conversation because their insurance agent was in the room with us, which is just really weird because you're sitting with your competitor explaining why they need to leave them and come to us. And at one point, we finally got to this point, and the client or the prospect made the statement. He said, "I feel like I've got the insurance company, our insurance company, on a rope, and I'm dragging them along as we're trying to do innovative ministry and dragging them so that they give us permission or got." But Mark, you guys are there that I almost feel like I'm on the other end of the rope and you're dragging me into new opportunities and opening the doors for us. And I said, well, that's what we're trying to do, is making sure that the church is unhindered in what they want to do. Now, they're not always insurance for that, right? And so sometimes you're doing something that is just so dangerous. But we're not telling you not to do it. We're just telling you, here's some ways to try to do it safely, but we're not going to provide any, if at all, or much of any insurance for that because you just can't. But that's okay. If the Lord's called you to this, we want to make sure that we're empowering you as best we can.
You know, you guys must not have, and maybe I'm being too presumptive, but you guys must not have any challenges with retention, do you?
Not many.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
much.
historically, we've run 95 to 96% of our customers renew every year.
Wow.
So
That's unheard of.
yeah, it is pretty much unheard
Well,
of.
But even employees, I think we'll have just under 4% turnover this year.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, and I'm sorry I'm selling out Geico on this one, but they, you have a sales funnel, right? They don't. They have a tube. And you fall right through it.
Yeah.
So that's why you see all those commercials and everything. It's all about acquisition. And anybody who took a marketing 101 course will tell you that it's cheaper to retain. And my God, I tried. But that's unfortunately, I think that's the game. That's the insurance game. Is no, acquire, money today, and that's obviously, they're not necessarily working on the customer's behalf as much as you guys are. Mark, I have a quote from you.
Yeah. That's how would you get a quote from me?
Because in your first Friday's presentation,
back in
you
March,
said if you're only focusing on cutting costs and saving dollars, you can't be transformative.
right?
So can you expand on that a little bit? And can we talk a little bit about, it's not necessarily the mistakes that the other guys are making. It's the raw improvement that you guys are relentlessly working on. Because how in the heck did you ever think that you should be handling payroll? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't come up. And I'm assuming that their cost per operation goes down because you guys have that wheel in motion.
Yeah. Well, first of all, on the payroll side, that came because I think it was George H. Bush made a comment publicly, said that there is about $1 billion or so of unpaid payroll tax liabilities inside the church. So we said we're a risk management firm as well as an insurance firm. So that's a risk, because with payroll liability, what most people don't know is that the corporate shield does not protect you for payroll liabilities. So if you're on the board of an organization, they don't pay their payroll taxes, you are held personally liable as a board member to pay that payroll tax liability.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's not, and by the way, it's every member of the board can be hit individually to pay that liability. The IRS can choose.
Wow.
So you really don't have that protection of the corporate shield
that you thought you had.
Yeah, and so you've got $1 billion in there, and we have volunteers on these church boards around the country that are going to be held personally liable. That's not acceptable. So that's why we launched payroll. And you're exactly right. You lose money on the smaller churches. That's just the way it is. And so most people chase the large churches. We built our payroll to only serve small churches. Only the last 2 years have we opened it to the larger church because they didn't need it to the same level. So we wanted to be making sure that we didn't fall into that same trap of, well, let's make sure we can earn the dollar over the day before we take care of who we're really about.
Yeah.
We forced ourselves to do it that way.
Wow.
So.
Well, it probably was by default, too, because I'm assuming that nobody was targeting the Davids. Right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
There's the white space in which to play. So having been, you guys together have been there over 60 years. Maybe that makes us feel bad. You've been there a long time.
Yeah.
Is there any one thing or aspect of the job that motivates you more than another? What is the one component of the job that really motivates you?
Well, I think for me, I mean, early on, as I mentioned, I started in claims, and so
I can only imagine how much this place has changed over the years.
Oh, yeah. When I was there, I think there were 66 of us. You know, we'll be
Now
about
it's like 600.
Yeah, now it's
700.
700 at the end of the year.
Wow.
So yeah, and we did maybe, I don't know, about $30 million in premium, and we'll be $1 billion this year. So it's grown astronomically. But I think it was always about the fact that we were committed to serving the church and, you know, standing in the gap. I mean, interestingly enough, the first claim that I handled when I started in 1989, my boss at the time kind of took a liking to me for whatever reason, took me under his wing and was going to mentor me. And we actually insured the church that is still the worst drunk driving accident in the history of the United States. Radford First Assembly of God, Radford, Kentucky. Busload of kids going to camp, got hit by a drunk driver, pushed over an embankment, 22 died, 44 seriously injured.
And he stayed in insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that claim wipes a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But just being able to stand with people in a time of their deepest need, I mean, there's no, I guess, better feeling than being able to be a help in those kinds of circumstances. So, I mean, that's always, and that's what we've been committed to, is standing beside churches when they're in that kind of a scenario. So that keeps me there all the time. So.
Wow.
And I would say it's similar to that, Scott. It's not you saw the bad side, but it's also in the good side. I was sitting with a ministry leader a couple months ago, and they were asking me questions, and they were just getting started and trying to raise money and doing all this. And I said, well, you know, we could do the payroll for you, and it would save you. Oh, I didn't know you did that. And well, do you have health insurance? No. And by the time we laid it out, all this operational stuff that they were feeling burdened by, we were picking up, taking it off their plate and putting it in a package and bringing it back to them solved. And they just couldn't believe that they could focus on ministry, because when you're trying to do the business aspect of it, it's very overwhelming.
Right. The finance of ministry.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we know we can help launch ministries into existence because of the services that we brought together. And so it's both of those. We love to take care of them in their need, but we also love to see them thrive and launch and grow and be who they are. And then you got the innovation and seeing what else they're doing. I don't know how you don't get excited and stay in this.
Well, which brings me to the next question is you guys have been named one of the best places to work in Indiana. And I don't think that's such a big surprise, especially in the discussion that we're having. But why do you think that is? Why do you think that if your retention if you're retaining over 90% of your employees on an annual basis, in today's market, that's unheard of.
Yeah, one of the things we're very intentional about is telling the story of who we are, what we're doing, and our customer stories. So you know how you have to make a hero in the story somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
We make our
The
customer
hero's journey.
right, and we make the customer the hero all the time. And I think that allows each of us individually and corporately to stay connected with what we're doing and why we're doing it.
And one of our core values has always been blessing the laborer. So we really do believe that, we believe in work-family balance. We're not looking for those who are, putting in 60 hours a week. That's not who we are. We try to look for anyway. One of the things that we introduced a few years ago was just a health clinic right on our property. So we have, a doctor and some, other physicians that are on our property that people can go to throughout the day if they, needing medical services. And so just what can we do to make sure that we're blessing those who are investing their time into the kingdom? So.
Wow. That's great. I'm ready to come over and work for you guys.
Yeah. We have some openings.
Yeah. They're listening. I don't want Callie and
But I think one of the analogies too that we use around the building a lot is, we really see ourselves and our agency force as Aaron and Hur. There's a story in the Bible where the Israelites are, have in a battle, and Moses is up on the top of the mountain, and whenever he raises his arm up, the Israelites prevail, and when he lowers his arms, the enemy prevails. And so Aaron and Hur come alongside him and hold his arms up so that the Israelites can prevail. So we really, that's kind of a core value of ours, that we're Aaron and Hur, that we're there to stand with the church to let them do their job.
As you guys you're growing, you're innovating, which, by the way, is just extraordinary to me because having worked around insurance so much, they're not known for innovation. Okay, I think all of our listeners would agree with that. All you have to have is one bad instance with your insurance company, and they're gone, right? It's easy to shop for another one. Is there anything between the two of you guys that you guys knock down, drag out, disagree with?
Between each other?
Yeah, philosophies or anything? Because I feel like you guys are singing from the same hymn here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have, kind of our leadership team.
I'm going to pick a fight between you two.
Yeah,
we have them.
Our planning committee. Yeah, we definitely can disagree on things, and but at the end of the day, ultimately, what we say is we'll
Mark's
disagree.
Mark's in charge, and he gets the final say. That's what we say.
Don't bring up dress code. That's it's an off.
Dress code. Yeah, that's a
yeah. As you can tell, we had one here, and then I came in. So
but yeah, there are things that we definitely disagree on. But at the end of the day, when we agree to a course of action, then we're all on board, and so we don't disagree outside that room.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I would say that probably the most recent issue that there's a lot of conflict on is how quickly to grow, because we can push our limits to our leverage ratios. We have so much opportunity out there, so many churches knocking on our door, that we're choosing which ones we'll let become a customer and which ones we don't, which is really unusual. But there's so much business coming our way that we have to choose how much will we allow ourselves to grow. Do we put on, like this year, we put on $100 million of new business. Well, we could go out and borrow some money, and then we could have put on $200 million of business. So do we want to do that? Do we not want to do that? Those are really, that I think is where most of our conflict right now comes, is how quickly do we grow, and to what method do we allow that to happen?
Yeah, and that's just kind of a unique thing with insurance companies, in that generally most businesses want to grow as much as they can possibly grow, but we're restrained by having enough money in the bank that we can pay the claims that could potentially arise. So there's state and regulations on how you're
regulated.
Very regulated. So that's part of it, is we could grow so much more than we are, but we just have to bring that surplus along to be able to support it. So.
And do you have trouble in recruiting at all, finding people,
employees?
Yeah, I would say.
Because right now that's the thing.
Yeah,
is every industry is hurting because of the lack of human capital.
Yeah, I would say insurance has always been one of those areas where most people never thought growing up, I want to get into insurance.
That's why I asked you guys that.
They almost always fall into it. And so, some of that is changing now. St. Francis here in town has an insurance and risk management major program. So you have people that are coming out of college there that are actually studying to be in that. But insurance, as you've mentioned throughout, occasionally has not the best reputation, and so it's not the first thought in a lot of people's minds.
Right. It's also not the first topic you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think that what most people don't realize is in insurance, the insurance major is only for a small portion of our employee base. So we find that elementary education teachers are the best customer service agents you can get because they know how to take a complex topic, bring it down to a fourth grade level, and explain it. So we hire L-Ed teachers. We have nurses that sit in our claims department, so they're working on the workers' compensation claims. We have actuaries that sit out there. We have CPAs. We have attorneys. We have finance folks. We have mortgage loan originators can come in and do underwriting. So when you start to look at what we can hire and the types of backgrounds, it's so broad that it gives us a lot of opportunity.
Wow.
And I would say, Fort Wayne, I'm a Fort Wayne, I was born and raised here. So, one of those people that
I'm
really.
supposed to ask where you went to high school then.
I went to Fort Wayne Christian.
Okay.
Yep. So that no longer exists, but did at the time. I think when I was growing up, you had Harvester, International Harvester, and that was like the big dog in town. And when they went under, it was a really.
Well, they had that annual thing that they would bring people back for. I know I met with the CEO of what's the German car company?
Audi or BMW?
No, it was Volkswagen.
Oh, Volkswagen.
Because they were going to try to bring the Scout back. Do you guys
Right.
remember this?
Yeah.
Right.
So, the mantra kind of at that time, Fort Wayne, a great place to live, but you wouldn't want to visit, but now it's, the things that Northeast Indiana has done, the things that Greater Fort Wayne has done, the region is really, and just even Fort Wayne itself is really expanded, and the opportunities that are here, that's really been a good driver for us. It's a good sell. Come to Fort Wayne.
Our internship program is huge. Yeah. So we offer a full internship to every one of our employees' college kids.
Oh, wow.
So that's 50, 60, 70 people depending on the year.
And the internships are hard to get now.
Yes, but they're full too. They're
How many youth do you bring in?
So we'll do about 60 to 70 typically, but it depends on the year. But then we also take the upperclassmen, if they've been with us for 2 years and they've proven that they're good employees, we will donate them to not-for-profits around the community, and then we pay their wages still. But we put them on staff at Rescue Mission or Ewell Wilson Center or wherever, so that they're getting that internship for their own resume, so it helps keep them employed. But the thing that we've learned is that as they've done that, these students are staying in Fort Wayne because they're working for us.
And that's what we need to do.
And guess what? They have money.
Yeah.
Because $13 an hour, even though it seems like low, and it goes up to, I think, 17 by their senior year, that's real money at 40 hours a week, and they're typically staying at home.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've got spending money. They're enjoying downtown Fort Wayne on a different viewpoint. Right now, they can go down and enjoy it on their own dime. They're starting to realize that Fort Wayne's a great place to live. And so that also helps us keep our employees and recruit as we continue on because of those are programs. We also have programs where some of the not-for-profits in town can nominate individuals, and they get 4-year internships with us out of their ministries. So we're trying to do multiple ways of getting young people in. And that's really what helped us, I think, 7-8 years ago. We switched from only hiring experience to hiring straight from the colleges. Yeah. So we have a training program inside Brotherhood that gets those students up there. When they graduate, they can come on board. They can get the training they need. They can feel like family. They have money. We are one of the highest average wage paid organizations in the city.
Yeah.
So it's a real opportunity.
Because we were talking before the show about the diversity of people who tune in. Do you have any advice for the youth right now in job search?
Yeah, so I have 5 kids, 27 to 37, so they're in that range. So I get it. It's very difficult. Compared to when I graduated, I had my job the fall of my senior year, so I already knew it. It was easy back then. Today, it is so much more difficult. But I think the the beauty is that we get so caught up in what our major is and said, this is where it's the box of where I can work. But there's so much going on in the world today where, jobs that didn't even exist 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When they started college didn't exist, and today do. So I think being willing to look at a broader base than just what your box says and utilizing the skills you've learned rather than the major you've earned, I think is a big difference out there.
I love that.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I would add is, again, we're a little bit dinosaurs in the sense of, as you mentioned early on, being in a company as long as we have. And, that's not the common thought today. It's that, I'm going to get here, I'm going to work for a few years, and I'm going to
get more money.
then I'm going to jump over here and do this, or, into different industries. And I mean, I think there's a place for that. But at the same time, I think the idea of finding something that you love and sticking with it and staying there, I would really encourage people to think about that a little bit, especially young people today, is when you go into a new, your first opportunity, your second opportunity, how can I make this my ending opportunity as well? How can I, learn how to, advance within that company as opposed to jumping somewhere else to do something different? Because if you find something you love and you're good at, you really don't work a day in your life.
It's so true. I'm so happy to have you guys here. We're getting into the rapid wrap up.
All right.
So this is where it gets combative. Okay. Are you a hiking person or a lake person?
Hiking person.
Beach. I want the ocean. I don't want a lake.
I'm with you. Don't.
He wants the easy route. I take the hard route.
Yeah, but ironically, you end up in the same place.
Thank you.
Would you rather see a show at the Embassy or a concert at the Clyde?
A show at the Embassy.
Same.
Okay, I would have guessed that for you too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to know why.
Yeah.
Are we old? Are we young? What is it?
You seem like more show people.
Okay.
We are very showy. That's our nature.
Yeah, you guys walked in through the door, and I was like, wow, these guys need to be wearing glitter. Okay, do you have a go-to order at the cafe you guys have on site?
I do.
Cappuccino.
Okay.
So actually, when they built the cafe, I made them stock it with Harney & Sons Paris brand, or the Paris flavor iced tea. So that was one of the requirements to put.
I thought you were going to say hamburger.
None of the rest of us can make them stock something, but he can.
Yeah.
Hideout 125 serves it. It's their iced tea.
Okay.
So, and that's where I learned it.
The last question. And remember, this directly impacts one of our pioneers of the year. So, Ruth's Chris or Baker Street?
Baker Street. I was there Sunday.
Ruth Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling James Conn
exactly.
that you said that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Our pioneer. It floors me, the wonderful things that you guys are doing. And to be that innovative, that's a story that needs to be shared. And we don't see that in a lot of industries. Obviously, with the industries that we have around here, you got to be flexible. I mean, there's always going to be a curveball coming at you, no matter what. How you position yourselves, how your operating costs are kept down, whatever. But I just think it's so impressive and commendable. And thank you for all the things that you guys are doing.
Well, thank you for. Like I said, the change in Northeast Indiana and Fort Wayne in particular has been more than dramatic in the last few years. And I think a lot of it is reflective of what the community has come together around to do. And so I appreciate your leadership.
I don't think we could have grown had the city not changed.
Impossible.
How could we have gone from this to that?
Yeah. What did they say when Stefan first called me and we were talking things over? He said, the thing about it is change is hard. And I said, no, I've been through that already. I get it. And he said, but the downtown here, it was attorneys and bail bondsmen and a jail.
Right.
And that was it.
That was.
And it's almost impossible to see that now. I live downtown here.
Yep.
It's beautiful. But like I said, I think it's on the backs of great companies like yours.
Well, we appreciate it. We love being here.
Yeah.